What was the favourite premiership?
At Preston, obviously the first club championship win against Box Hill was memorable, was won comfortably, and then it just seemed easy to win it again the next year. We were so far ahead of most of other sides. We beat Moorabbin in the club championship, and I think Broadmeadows as well in the final. But good memories. The sad thing is that we've never got together, and I believe premierships are there to be celebrated, and it's a great regret that we either haven't done it ourselves or we've not had the opportunity to get back together again.
We're going to rectify that, Ron.
Well, that's good. It's 30 years.
We'll call it a festival, not a reunion, a festival. Looking back at 10 years at Preston, I mean, you must have some wonderful stories that you can sort of recount. What was one of the most memorable incidents or stories? Yeah, keep it clean.
I'll give you one good, one bad. I'll start with the bad one and we finish on a positive, but I forget what year it was, about 83 or something. No, 85, thereabouts. Well, the season we had, I think John Berrickey was captain coach. The pitch at Preston was absolutely dreadful. The ball was running along the ground. You couldn't score. I mean, 100 was a winning score. The wickets were just a disgrace. And we were losing batsmen from the club because of it. Anyway, this particular day was against Yarraville. I think we're into the second innings. Both sides have been rolled for less than 70. Preston had won on the first innings, and there'd been a bit of byplay because everyone's crowding the bat and there's a lot of pressure on. Anyway, I've gone out to bat, been bowled with one that landed halfway up the pitch and hit me the stump. So I'm walking off, and it turned out that the wicketkeeper had abandoned his gloves that day and was fielding in the covers. He's run across from the covers to halfway back to the pavilion, and he's in my face, you know, giving it to me. And some other little cheeky prick was doing the same. And I don't know what went through my mind, but as a former amateur footballer, I thought you can't get reported if you use an open palm. So I put my hand up like that, and his face happened to be there. So anyway, I've been reported. He was reported. We go to the tribunal, and the funny thing was, I thought with Dave Robinson as my advocate, I'm okay. I'll be right with Dave, because Dave, well regarded in the association. Anyway, I landed with 2 weeks, so I've sacked Dave Robinson as an attorney. I had a 2-week rest, and we came back into the finals that year against Sunshine. So it was 84. I hadn't batted for about 3 weeks, got 50 in the semi-final against Barry Watson. I was pretty pleased with that performance, but we got rolled narrowly by 10 runs. One of the funniest was when Brian Duggan, a noted humorist, on a very hot day at Balwyn, all of a sudden he's noticed Rowan Porpeleye lying on the ground at mid-on, and Brian's called out, "Swarm, swarm." And we look around, and here's Rowan lying on the ground, and the umpire said, "I know it's hot, Brian," but anyway, it turns out what Brian is referring to was a hive of bees that attacked Rowan at mid-on. And Brian called out "Swarm."
It's a good description of Brian, humorist. He was a funny man, and quick, wasn't he?
Oh, very quick-witted, yeah.
Over your career with Preston, you played against some pretty decent players, some international players. Gladstone Small was one. Ollie Mortensen was another. Malcolm Marshall, Desmond Haynes, Carl Hooper, and I'm sure there are a lot of others. You played against Marshall. Did you actually face him?
I did. I was batting 3 that day, and it was one of those days where he decided he was going to bowl fast. Green top wicket, no sight screen, hard wicket. We had Richie Robinson in the side, so he was obviously keen to do well against Richie. But yeah, just watching him side on, he was terrifying to observe. I hadn't worn helmet until then. I did that day. Glad I did. But there were a couple of incidents that are worth talking about that day. Jerry Dowling would have been a 17-year-old, probably playing his first or second game. And I'm at the bowler's end as Jerry came in to bat, and turns out he got to the pitch and his helmet was back to front. That bloody nervous. And of course, Richie Robinson came in after him or before him, and Marshall probably went back another metre, and he ran up and hit Richie right in the forehead. Would have killed him. If the helmet wasn't on, he would have killed him. It just took off a length, and it was a message, you know, don't forget who I am, sort of thing. But managed to get 27 against him, saw him off, and then some rubbishy leg spinner came on, and I've hit a full bunger straight to mid-wicket. And, you know, you do the hard work.
Yeah.
And then so often that happened.
With your 10 years at Preston, what did you really enjoy about being at Preston?
A couple of main things at Preston was a very sound administration under Dick Norris. You had wonderfully warm and friendly people like June and Peter Jones who made it feel like a family club. Preston was very much culturally like Northcote. I played to win. That was what my aim and objective was, win premierships. And Preston, I thought, you know, that was a similar focus for them, was to have team success. To me, Preston did become a home. I had a lot of good friends there. We had a lot of good times on and off the field. I think June and Peter Jones really set Preston apart from other clubs. The work they did as team manager and scorer, they cared for the players. Really, we were like a family to them, and I loved them.
We've got the 1860 club up, Ron, and obviously that's why you're here and going to be part of it. What's your thoughts about reconnecting with everybody and getting the storytelling up and making the connection between the past and the present?
It's a welcome initiative. I think it's, and I've said this to you and Gus, that it's long overdue. What sets good clubs apart? I mean, Caulfield Cricket Club have been the ones to really show leadership in this area. They're past play, and that's why they're successful. If Preston can get anywhere near what Caulfield has achieved, it will definitely bring on field success. It will encourage players to join the club and remain with the club. There's a huge history at Preston. It's had some wonderful players, and if it can capitalise on that, all for the better. And I hope there is a sort of a connection between current players and past players, and that past players can appreciate the club history and can actually maybe sit down and have a yak to the likes of Eddie Rutenfeld's at the bar, get some tips, technique, improvement, strategies. I can see a huge plus if you can get this group affiliated closely with the current players. Since
you retired from cricket, what's been happening in your life, Ron, with family, work and activities? What have you been up to?
I started a cricket social group called Centurions, which in conjunction with Graham Templar, who was a long-term Canberra player. We had 20 years of playing cricket all around the world. That took up a lot of my time. I was on the committee the whole time, and we organised games in Ireland, England, Germany, Vanuatu, Barrel. We raised over 100,000 for asthma. That was a huge involvement. We had some test players play for Merv Hughes, became a member, and we had Merv play with us a number of times. Jimmy Higgs, etc. Post-press and being secretary at Northcote for 3 years. But post-cricket, let's say golf has consumed me, Lee. For the 20 years of playing golf.
The one thing we didn't cover off, Ron, and I've just remembered, your batting over the years. You said you were a bit of a glider, tuck it around the corner. How did you go with the batting over the years?
I guess my batting career would be marked by being relatively consistent at making 20s and 30s. Mm-hmm. Highest score in district cricket was only 91 when I was at Fitzroy, first year. Made a lot of scores. And I suppose I pride myself on making runs against the better bowlers. Was never a bloke who would go out there and smash 120 against the lesser bowlers, but I was pleased that I could get 20s and 30s when it counted.
Well, we're just about out of time, Ron. It's been absolutely fantastic listening to you. I'm sure everyone in the club is going to appreciate that, both past and present. So thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure, Lee. Best wishes to everyone, and I hope the club is successful.